So we're outside our hotel. Have people arriving. It's really hot. It's too hot to be dressed as Laurel Hardy. But just look in the distance over there. It's really, really creepy. Look, those windmills are just floating there in the sky.
You organised the weather.
Oh, we're going down for the first event. Might not. We haven't decided yet. Oh, that's Cobh outside. But that's the last piece of land the Titanic ever saw. So where's it? It's around here? I don't think so. That way? I heard noises. That way. In we go. In we go. There we are. With nice people.
It is a complete honour to have him and his lovely wife Liz with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please make yourself known to him. Shake his hand, Mr. Adrian Cobh. I want to just add at this point, we have a very special addition to our programme tomorrow. Adrian is giving a public recital of the carillon at 4:30 in the afternoon. We are welcome to view this on the screen inside the cathedral or listen to the music from outside. I absolutely cannot recommend that you give this a listen. In honour of our comedy and for telling a good story. They had an idea to take the bowler hat that Stan actually wore on the tour of the British Isles in the 1950s. They specifically wanted to take the trip to Ireland and to Cobh and search out the story of that famous welcome the boys received and to tell it once more. Both myself and Adrian were involved in the film, and it has been produced to be screened at a number of festivals in October in the United States. The previews have sent a bit of a ripple around some of the cinemas in the States, and they want it on their lists. So this is going to go viral, and it's going to put Cobh to a big audience. They offered it to me to screen as a premiere tonight, and we jumped at the chance. It wasn't part of our programme, but we had to fit it. We knew we had to fit it in. It's 25 minutes, I think, long. I can't remember. So my thanks to Andy and Matt, as we have a world premiere here tonight, screening it in the shadow of St. Colman's with Adrian in attendance. But I have to give thanks to Matt and Andy as they officially open the 14th European Sons of the Desert Convention with the last dance of the Cuckoos.
See you soon. Bye. I just feel a massive responsibility, really. We've got this for 4 days on the road, and we've got to look at the kids came down the street. He came out of his shop with his camera, and he took pictures of them coming off the boat. And just before they got into the car, he's worked out the exact spots where his granddad was standing. I'd like to take a picture of him with his granddad's camera, and then we'll take it from there.
Once again, my thanks to Matt and Andy for sharing that with us and allowing us to show it here tonight. Adrian had a bigger part than I did in it, but I'll get over it. Okay, just before we all sit down and give the hotel a chance to give us a meal, I want to tell you, in your name badges you got Heritage Centre tickets and lunch vouchers for Spike Island. Hang on to them. If you lose them, come up to myself and Stephen. We do have spares, but try and hang on to them because you'll need them. And note the group that you're with for the Spike Island tour. 2 days ago, we got note that the big ferry that was taken Philip and Tony, you made a great effort this morning. I just have to call you for absolutely fantastic. Thanks a lot for that, guys. Adrian, without further ado.
Thanks, Liam. I nearly disconnected the whole thing from the beginning. I'm glad to see that most of you seem to have followed my advice of last night and didn't go to bed at all. So we're all here, starting on schedule, and that's marvellous. I've been assured that when I pull the shirt off, the cat won't come off the wall. So hopefully that's right. I think I'll do that first and then maybe say a few words.
Adrian, could you stand at that side and turn towards us? Yeah, otherwise we'll get your back, you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your tall?
Because one of perfect. Yeah.
Oh, it's not what I thought it was. It was a proper.
I haven't seen it before. I was in here yesterday and it wasn't here. Well, what to say? I think it's wonderful this plaque is here because this place, the Heritage Centre, brings back sad memories to many people who come here, the thousands of visitors who come here every year. And of course, that's because they remember the emigration from this country. And that's not always a happy story. But some are happy stories. I remember a few years ago, the Speaker of the House of Commons in Ottawa, so a very important political figure, came here with his wife, who was a minister of Nova Scotia, and his family. And his story was that his ancestors came from West Cork, and they came to Cobh and got married here and lived here for a year before they went to Canada. But of course, you may know or you may not know, in Ottawa, in the Houses of Parliament, there's a magnificent carillon, which I've played. And it's through that instrument, talking to the carillionaire, who was a friend of mine, that he ended up in Cobh. And we were able to show him the marriage register of where his ancestors were married in the Cathedral. So there are happy stories like that, and my hope is that when people come here and hear all the sad stories, they look at this, which is a very happy event. Laurel Hardy, as far as I know, had no connection with Ireland, but they did experience an Irish welcome. And that's really the reason we're all here 70 years later, on this day, when my father played the carillon for them, and they received such a marvellous welcome. And the wonderful thing about that story is that they had no anticipation that they were going to receive any welcome at all. When they left New York a few days previously, I don't think their departure was even acknowledged. And on the journey over and the voyage over, they must have had experienced a certain amount of trepidation. Was this a good idea at all, coming to Europe? Was it going to succeed, or would the people not even recognise them? Had they been completely forgotten? And of course, the magic moment was when they came in on the tender and saw all these people. They still weren't sure this was for them. Maybe this normally happened. Maybe they thought somebody important is arriving. And so they turned around to see, could they recognise the important person? And it was only when my father started playing the dance of the cuckoos on the carillon that they realised it could only be for them. So, in a time when, at any time, there's bad news, there's wars, there's all sorts of sad things happening, but we must remember there are also always happy things happening. And this is what this plaque represents. And we have their words quoted here, and they never forgot this to the end of their life. Some of you have probably seen the video of them, This Is Your Life, they did in Hollywood a year later, and they mentioned this point. Towards the end of the program, this was something they would never forget. So, I'm delighted and honoured to be here to unveil this plaque, and I thank the Sons of the Desert. I assume that includes daughters too. Equality. For inviting my wife and myself to the function last night, and me to unveil this plaque. I thought I would commemorate this 70th event relatively quietly by myself up in the playing cabin of the carillon, but it didn't turn out that way. Thankfully, I had no idea what this convention would be like, I was aware of your unusual headgear, and so I went with a certain amount of concern perhaps to the Commodore last night. But I discovered it was just like one of the many carillon conferences I've attended all over the world. And I claim the carillonneurs are the most normal people in the world, and I found the sons and daughters of the desert exactly the same. So I don't know what that means. So I'm finished, that is that.
So we're here in the Heritage Centre. There's Stan Laurel in 1953. This was the Customs Hall. So a lady was just telling us that when Stan and Babe arrived, their luggage would have been checked through customs right here. We've had so many photos taken. So many. It actually felt like a paparazzi turning up at a premiere, just without the flash guns. It was ridiculous. And they'd just taken a photo outside, standing in the exact spot where Babe stood 70 years ago today.
The boys arrived. Of course, the first piece of Irish soil on which they stepped was there from the tender onto the quay. And then they walked into the where we were, where we unveiled the plaque, which was quite different then. It was actually the customs shed. Structurally it was the same, but not as sophisticated as it is now probably. There were a whole series of low tables, about knee-high, timber tables, but covered on the top with metal, about 3 rows of them parallel, and hanging from the ceiling were lines on which were appended the letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, and so on. So the idea was that the baggage of the passengers was put under the appropriate letter. Now, I don't know where the boys' baggage was put under L or H or what, but anyway, that's what happened. And you had the customs coming along, and there was total chaos that morning, of course, because the boys were there. Normally it was all very orderly. And then we had the crowds waiting outside. So, welcome to St. Colman's Cathedral, which is all around you. It's a magnificent building, as you can see. We have around Eric and Nuala and Ger, who are official cathedral guides. Nuala is the head of the guides, and they do a great job. And later they'll give you a tour of the cathedral. I'll give you those details in a minute. This cathedral, if you go to the left, you can see the foundation stone, which says 1868, which is relatively recently. And most Catholic churches and cathedrals in Ireland are from the 19th century. There's a historical reason for that. I'm sure the guys will explain that to you. For those from the UK, there's a very interesting connection with the carillon, though. We pronounce the word carillon. It's actually a French word, carillon. In North America, they are nearer to the original pronunciation. They call it carillon. So I think we need a new name, but anyway, apart from that, there's an interesting connection between the carillon and the UK, because when the cathedral was nearing completion, the bishop at the time, Robert Brown was his name, and he lived up in that house there. That is the bishop's house, recently repainted and so on. The present bishop is William Green. Bishop Brown, he had a nephew who was a chaplain in the British Army, the Irish Guards. This was during the time of the First World War. And of course, Father Brown spent a lot of time on the continent of Europe, including Belgium. And he visited many of the great cities of Belgium, including Bruges and Antwerp and Mechelen and so on. And he came back to his uncle, the bishop, and he said, you know, I know what you should put in the tower of your new cathedral. It would be the jewel in the crown. One of these instruments I've heard of Belgium, they're called carillons, he said. And that's why we ended up with a carillon, as simple as that. Brown engaged tailors of Loughborough in Leicestershire to be the bell founders. And so the bells were cast 42 in those days, we now have 49. but they were ready on the docks in Liverpool right in the middle of the First World War, and how to get them to Queenstown, as Cobh was called then. So Brown was very friendly, but the Admiral who was living here at that time, Admiral Bailey was his name, a very civil relationships. They visited each other every Wednesday afternoon, either at the Bishop's Palace, as it was called then, or at the Admiralty for afternoon tea. And during that time, the Bishop casually mentioned to the Admiral he had a little problem. The little problem was 26 tons of bell metal on the docks in Liverpool, which he couldn't get over here. And the Admiral said, don't worry, he said, I'll watch while you pray. By which he meant he would commandeer a British destroyer to bring the bells here. Now, it's right in the middle of World War I. The U-boats were very active outside the harbour here. And I'm sure the Admiralty were not very enthusiastic if they knew about it, about this. But that's what happened. They were brought across here, and they were offloaded in Halbowline, and then brought by a barge across to Cobh, and brought up the hills by horse-drawn carriages. So we can thank the British Admiralty for that. The bells may never have got here. Bishop Brown had another nephew who was actually a priest here, and he was rather pessimistic in his outlook. He said there's a great danger that your cathedral bells, he said to the bishop, will end up diving bells. In other words, the destroyer could have been torpedoed, which is very possible. But of course, a destroyer which could move fast, which could defend itself, was far better form of transport than a merchant ship, which might well have been sunk, as many of them were. So that's how the bells got here, which is quite interesting. A carillon is a musical instrument, obviously. It's a bell instrument. There are about only 600 in the world as a whole. The biggest concentration is in Holland and Belgium. The biggest number of new carillons tends to be in North America. I'm fortunate in playing an instrument that you can't bring with you, which means I have to go to the instrument. So I've seen a lot of the world, Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand, and so on, playing these instruments. And so have a lot of friends in these countries. Being a carillionaire is like being a member of a rather exclusive international organisation, a bit like yours, now that I got to think of it. For a carillon, you must have at least 25 properly tuned bells. They must hang in a tower. They are stationary, they don't ring, they don't swing. And they have to be very precisely tuned. But most of you know that already, because I sent on to you our video, which we show to visitors, so I won't dwell on that fact. The program for today is that in a few minutes now I'll start climbing the tower. But we can't bring all of you, unfortunately. But I have asked Liam to select as 3 or 4 as irresponsible people as we have here. I mean the spirit of the whole thing. So,
plenty to choose from.
Yeah. And I'll bring them up. But you will be able to go to the screen which we have inside, and the guys will show you that, and you can see me playing in real time, live. Or if you wish, you can, or also go across the road there to the lovely new Remembrance Garden, which is a great listening place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play, of course, the Dance of the Cuckoos, but a number of other pieces associated with the boys, The Lonesome Train, Shine on Harvest Moon, as well as. It'll last about 50 minutes, but this afternoon at 4:30 I'm going to play a larger program, Memories of the Silver Screen, and that will last an hour. After that, then I have to dash down here to play the order for evening mass. So I kept busy. So that is that. It'll take us about 15 minutes to get up the tower. I could go up in a few seconds, but I'll have these older people with me as well. And in the meantime, the cathedral guides will take you around the cathedral, and when we're ready, you'll assemble at the screen or outside or both, and you can hear and see me play. So now I shouldn't say this, but any questions? Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. Guys, while we're here, can we please, on 3,
Grand.
Laurel and Oliver Hardy at Cobh, 9th of September 1953, by Tom French from his collection The Sea Field, published by Gallery Press. It was a homecoming nobody foresaw. They were washed up working the music halls, in the backwaters that still remember them, and by coming by water, being too broke for air, which kept them in touch with the common man. The ailing waiting for the boats to Lourdes, the able sailing with their 10-bob notes stitched into the seams of homemade clothes. There was slapstick on the tender coming in, the whole impromptu routine on the quay, for all of the people suddenly at liberty to take in what their eyes could not believe. Until across the rooftops music came, then laughter stopped and tears came hot and strong, as the great carillon of St. Colman's rang in jubilation and in prayer, their cuckoo song.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is a great day indeed for Cobh as we find ourselves graced by two of the biggest stars of the silver screen of the last 30 years. I remember as a younger man sitting in the cinema and laughing myself silly at the antics of these two fellows. They're only with us for a short time as they're going up north to work on their latest show, but I'm thrilled that they're with us here today. Now I understand that their new little show, a comedy, will be seen in Ireland and in the United Kingdom soon and all the way through to 1954. So this is the very start of their tour here in Cobh and keeping them away from their home in Hollywood for a long time. I think we can all be proud that their 1953 adventure...
We've only got 15 cents. Now when I ask you to have a drink, you refuse.
But you keep asking me.
Do you understand? So, soda, and what will you have, Stan?
Soda.
Can't you grasp the situation? You must refuse.
So we're now on Spike Island. It's Sunday. Didn't film too much last night because, you know, it's the thing. You don't film if you're really, really busy. You don't film stuff. Who's that? Don't care.
Yeah, the first group over, the first boat over. Oh yeah. So Gilby's going to be your guide for your visit. Right, lads.
Just again at the beginning, Spike Island is called Inish Peak in the Irish language. We believe that comes from the fact that the Picts tribe, P-I-C-T-S, sailed down here from Scotland many, many years ago, into the Highlands in Scotland, where they became residents there. They were a very warlike tribe, which is why the Romans died in here. Raise their families. All these were soldiers, non-commissioned soldiers lived here. 10 families, we believe, living in some of them are 10 children. Now you can see the lovely Cathedral of St. Colman. I don't know whether you've seen it yet, it's well worth a visit. Built in 1865 and they first celebrated Mass there in 1815. So it's the last site that many of up to 1 million immigrants have left here from both overseas.
Cobh can. But then...
You got your makeup on, you're getting your photographs taken.
Oh no.
My hair's a mess. Sorry. Oh, I have a lot of things.
Yes. For your fit in.
I know.
Not completely official component.
She's doing the convict pictures. The last thing she thought she'd see today is Laurel Hardy.
So this is the hotel for the convention. Shoes and Shanks, they were
power duo.
Yeah.
1980s.
Just showing how industrious how creative the prisoners were. The little articles. It's a battery-powered one there. It's great. Very well done. Public Enemy #1. Five-star accommodation. All mod cons. Barbecue there. Colleen, will you turn the camera off? I'm trying to look through my magazines here. So we're meant to be having lunch in 5 minutes and we have no idea where it is. There's no one around, they haven't told us nothing. Ain't told us nothing. Don't know what's going on now.
I'm assuming it's over there where the lunch bin is.
Well, that would make sense. Nothing's like Alcatraz, a curious place it is. It's got some elements of beauty amongst the starkness, which is very poetic. So what with one thing and another, we've been left with about another 5 minutes to walk around the site before we go back to the boat. It's a place to come back to. Look at this, through this block, look at this. Creepiness, creepiness, the greatest gift that I possess. It's not all fun and games. In memory of Captain Patrick White, Mealit Company IRA, County Clare, shot dead by British soldiers whilst a prisoner here, 1st of June 1921. Yeah, that's a painting there. It says this building was originally known as the officers' quarters and it was later called the 1916 building as it was burned accidentally that year. Now I don't know if that means it's been in ruins ever since. Might be, might not be. But again, it's dead creepy inside. See, there's nothing on the first floor. But then look in there. Creepy. Creepy. That one's so creepy, there's not even a door out of it. So, a door over there. It's creepy. Creepy room. Pigeons fluttering away there because they're so scared they're flying away. And now we've got to go back to the boat. Not long enough. We need to spend a proper day here, walk around the whole island. Amazing sight. Just want to go over to this little little shrine here. See if the Virgin M's in. Let's have a look. Have a look, see if she's in there. Are you in there, Virgin Mary? Get away, you shite. There we are. So, that's where she was. And now back down to the exit. To maybe come back another day. Loads of people we've met today had photos taken with us, all on the cruise ship, and there they go. They're all off to Iceland now. It's a mad sight. I mean, it's big. It's not as big as Friday's big, but it's still big. It's weird.
We don't realise it. We see it like, look at that.
So get out of the way, flag. See how far in we can go. How many people there? Can you see any people there, Sean? I can see them there, Colleen. Where are they? Just above that, just above the sign there. Look at them there. Look at their little faces. I'm waving at them all, and not one of them's waving back. So superficial. Honestly, they see you as Oliver Hardy, they want to talk to you, and as soon as you're Oliver Hardy at a distance and they can't see you've got Hitler's moustache, they just ignore you. Look at, oh, there's someone's waving. Are they waving? Yeah, that was a wave. That was a wave. Good. Yay! There's me waving like I'm a local. Waving them off, the tourists. As if I'm not going back to England tomorrow.
See you next time.
So away it goes there. Heading towards the spot where the Titanic was last ever photographed, and going towards where the Lusitania was torpedoed. Basically, there's thousands of people. Away it goes. It's time for Dave's Usual. Wouldn't be the same without it. This is Cobh on Sunday night, with the liners gone and no tourists about really. It's lovely, it's still nice and warm. It's meant to be pouring down with rain later today, and it just didn't happen. The whole 3 days of the convention, the weather's been absolutely lovely and hot, but not too hot. Now, I don't know if this path's going to be open or not, but there's something very special down here I want to see, and I really want to see it at night. So let's see if I can. Don't know if it's down there, if it's down here. Let's have a look how far I can get. I think it's around the corner. I can't get there tonight, but I'll come back and have a look tomorrow. But just in case I don't get to see it, I'm sure I will. There's an important spot just over there. Just between the higher building and the lower building is the remains of the jetty where the very last people to overboard the Titanic left here when it was Queenstown, and it's literally about a minute's walk from the hotel. That's where we left for Spike Island earlier today. Let's go and see if we can go along the jetty there and see if I can see it from the other side. Probably can't, but worth a go. So that's the hotel just there. That's the Commodore where we're staying. Just pull back a bit. It's quite dark, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see, but there we are. Cover the light a bit in there. That's not really working. I don't know how much you can see of it from where I am, but light there in the middle. I mean, I can see the outline of it right here, but I'm like about 50 yards away from the remains of that jetty. So that's where the Reverend Brown, Father Brown, was it Father Brown? Could have been. He did Mystery later on. So that is where he came back into Queenstown, just 5 days before the Titanic sank, with all the photographs he'd taken on board. And indeed, that's where the last 123 people, I think it was, left. And loads of them died. Here it is, unviewable from another angle. I'll probably come back tomorrow before we leave and show it properly on film, but I mean, I can see it through the darkness, and it's spooky. I mean, it's just a piece, you know, just bits of wood of a jetty, but knowing historically what it means. And I figure as well, that's where the people left for the Lusitania. I mean, it has to be, because both of them were tenders that took them out to the boats, which were out in that direction. So neither of them came into the harbour here at Cobh. It's just where the passengers left from, and the tenders took them from there. And likewise, when Laurel Hardy came here, the boats were big and they didn't come this close into the harbour. They were out that direction. Okay, so the convention's over in its own way, but I mean, it's too reflective in here, you can't really see it, but see, it's quite surreal. You can have the toilets for the ladies, toilets for the gents, and the toilets for the telephones. What?
Take bag.
Where's, okay, this bag. Okay. Honestly, I was trying to do a presentation to the camera there, and so unprofessional, ruining the. Don't look at me. Don't turn that camera on me. You stupid idiot, man. Don't turn the camera on me. So look at the function room with everyone gone. It's just the slight, quiet remnants of 1,000 bad jokes. On that mapless, don't you look at it, it's mapless. Going to get me ice cream. You're going to get ice cream now, come on, come with me.
Not allowed.
What?
It's Monday.
So?
You're not allowed to buy ice creams in Ireland.
I don't buy ice creams. That is man.
Ice cream on Monday in
Ireland. Not rule not apply to me.
It does.
I am king of ice cream.
Dogs are not allowed to look at ice cream on Monday.
I'm not dog, I'm lucky dog.
Lucky dogs aren't allowed to look at ice cream.
That is nonsense, Roy. That's a lie you make up to be nasty at Papa time.
Especially stupid idiot.
No!
With bow ties.
I like my bow tie. See my bow tie? Look at my bow tie.
My bow tie.
It's 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 my bow tie. So back in the daytime. That's proper footage of the remains of the jetty that led out where the last people left for the Titanic and the Lusitania. And you think it'd be really well preserved, you know, they'd look after it, but it's just There's something nice about the fact they haven't. Some things just meant to be.
Street to take it.
Colleen! Colleen, did you destroy the pier there? Welcome to my shop. Welcome to my shop. My shop is the ice cream. See, there's the ice cream, the chocolated ice cream, and the strawberry ice cream, and the vanilla ice cream, and at my shop. And at the moment, my shop closed, so don't you look at it. But the handcrafted ice creams, which mean you can touch them. But got nice picture of ice cream there. See, nice picture of my ice cream, and you can't look at it, so go away. So here's the Titanic exhibition in Cobh. This is the old White Star Line offices, and the people go through there on the way out to the boat. And I deliberately decided not to go in there now, even though it's probably, if there's anything here I want to go in and see, it's that. But I need to come back, and so I'm going to make sure I don't see it now, so I can look forward to when I'm next here, which I expect will be within a year. So this leads straight down to the old jetty at the end. And I just read on the wall that it's 123 people boarded here on April the 11th. 1912, and only 44 of them survived, so that's two out of every 3 people who boarded here died on the Titanic. Ay ay ay. And here we are again in Kennedy Park. So this is the bandstand where we did the show on Saturday. And that's the jetty. Now, this is the sea overflow outlet pipe. Basically, when the tide rises and the sea gets too high, all the extra seawater comes through here and drains off into the sea. That's a bloke in a little bath with another boat.